Hello everyone. This is
Hey, Alexi.
Hi Teresa. I'm Alexei, and if you think it's something like a cappella singing party, you probably switched wrong channel. I'm just kidding. We will. This is Radio Rapise, and we will keep talking about Rapise. And we started talking about the task we want to accomplish with Rapise today. And today is the second part. So last time we were looking at the scenario we want to implement with Rapise, and it's time to switch to the screen. We want to have these streams short, so no more words, just switching here. And now I'm going to try to implement what we did manually last time. You may review previous stream recording if you forgot what is that. And we want to implement it just using Rapise. So I'm just creating a new test as usual. And this test will be something like Rapise report, maybe Spira report generator. Uh, it would be weekly, right? Weekly. Okay, let's weekly report generator. It's a web-based, and I'm going to use Firefox because normally I use Chrome for routine daily things, and Firefox, in this case, I use Firefox for automation. This is like preferred way. You may do everything in one browser, but I prefer to have two of them. Okay, that's good. We have new test, and before we begin, I'm going to use some power pack, some special thing that will help me to do my task quicker. So we know that we need to automate Spira, and we know that Spira has standard login, logout functionality, project switching, and automating it from scratch is a task that would require some efforts because even login is contains some tricky parts. Other options would be to use API, but there is a problem with API. This piece of functionality, the report generation, is not yet available through the API, so we need to use UI. That's why, before we begin, let me use some power feature. I'm going to navigate to Inflector GitHub, where we publish all the frameworks and useful things and features that you may find useful in your daily work. And in my case, what I'm going to load is Spiralib. This is a library that boosts interactions with Spira and implements some useful things. I'm just hitting download now. You see it has number 1 here because I just tried to download it a bit before. Yes, I was trying to prepare to this stream. Yeah. Sorry. Yes, I did. Okay, I was practicing. Okay, I've copied it and I'm going to put it here. So we are navigating to the file tree of this test. No, not open externally. What I'm doing, reveal an explorer. So I have Explorer in this window, copying Spiralib here. So this is a zip package, and what I actually need are its contents. And probably simplest way is to do where is extract all. Extract. So now we have a subfolder. I mean, we don't need this zip. I'm just trying to clean everything while ago. So this spiral lib is not what I need. I need this lib folder, just this lib folder. I'm going to copy it here, and I don't need the rest. So the lib is only thing I need. So once the lib is subfolder of my test or my test framework, it's available throughout the whole framework. And now some magic should happen. I'm going to reload the test, reload. And if I go to the object tree, you see there is two objects. They came from this library. So one object is called Spira and another is Spira table. Spira is full of tables. Everything is in tables, so it's essential to deal with Spira when you want to automate it. But in our case, we are in some dark corner where there is no tables. There is special UI that we are going to animate, and we will not use the tables this time. So first is, yeah, we actually we have done a lot of things for Spira, but explaining something, the tool that actually integrated with Spira by also connecting to Spira is getting to be something a bit crazy, man. So okay, so this Spira contains a lot of things. I understand what half of them do. Other half is I'm still learning, but we have enough to begin. So first is login, and I'm dragging it here. So we are going to log in, and you see this is an first it comes without parameters. So in default version, it just doing login using parameters stored in a special file. It's I think Spira config dot something. But in our case, we need some parameters. That's why I'm going to click these params because I know there are additional param and I see them now. And we have three expected parameters. First is URL, and where is URL? This one. I'm just going to navigate here, copy it, and close this browser. So this is Spira URL. The user is Robin Ellicott. Some people know who is it, Robin Ellicott. Some don't. Still,
I don't know.
I won't tell you.
Ah, it's homework for me then.
Okay, now I need to type the password and I want to make it some secure way. But if I just type it here, you may see while I'm typing, but I want to make it really secure. So I'm going to use this trick. I'm moving this around, type it there, hit enter. Yeah, it gets encrypted, so no one saw it. Okay, so I just did login and finally there will be something like Spira logout. So this is like beginning and end of my test. Play selection. And I already said this maybe a million times, but login and logout in many cases is more complicated than the rest of the application. So when we see people trialing automation solution, and try to first record login and logout, and they feel really not comfortable because it's not like working reliably. And this is an expected thing because login is tricky. So if it works somehow, just leave it as it is. And when you are more trained, more have more experience, you will be able to implement it maybe more properly. But you should know that if you manage to do logout, you already met a great goal. So this was not expected to be trivial from the beginning. Well, you saw it opened the browser and logged in successfully. So next thing is to switch to the project. In our case, the project is called Library Information System. And again, instead of recording, we have this already done in this Spira object. Um, um, Select, it should be something like select project, and project string, so it's a name. And name is library. Okay. So we are going to execute just a part of this script. So we should log in and select a project and should not log out. So we will proceed with the application in a state after selecting the project. Doing play selection. And you see this login, it takes some time. It always takes some time. That's why we try to minimize the time of doing it. So we are going to do login right now and then avoid doing it when working on the test. So what we have, library information system is selected. Now the next step is going to reporting. So we are supposed to do, I'm doing it manually, but we're supposed to do this automatically and get to this report/list. And we could just navigate to URL, but URL is project specific. This is a project ID, and this is something that we want to be parameterized. So I'm going back to the dashboard, and here I'm adding a couple of calls, Spira get project URL. If I remember correct, get project URL, it's URL to the resource within some specific project. And in our case, it's report list. So it will prepend it with project ID at ASPX if needed and get the proper URL. Now I want to navigate to this resource, and Spira also has navigate for this purpose. And I want to navigate to URL returned from here, so it's a variable last result. So result of get project URL should be here. Now let me try to play this piece. Select project and go to reports. So we are here now. Next, once we are here, we want to record the things, a couple of things. So we are clicking on incident summary. This is where we planned to do what we need to do to be done. So I hit record. And once incident summary shows up here, so click is recorded. I can see it here. Doing it everything slowly. Recording is always slow, at least in my interpretation of this notion. And then it should be Excel printable, right? Okay, Excel printable. Then a couple of a bit tricky things like selecting status and type. And since we may leave them as is, let me leave them. We will return to this later. Next is most interesting part. So I supposed to set this checkbox, and this is recorded. Now I need to click here on the folder and choose a folder. So this selection here is tricky, and in such cases, I always prefer to use some more selective way. So it's better to just test results, for example. First type what I need to be selected, so we have only one option. And so there are two reasons for that. First is, okay, it's some pre-selection. And the second is when you see the playback of this script, if you just want to work with full drop down, the click may be very, very fast and you don't really see where it managed to click, and it all happens in a second. While it's typing, you see it selects one option, so you know actually you see better where it clicked. So it set text here, test results, and then it clicked on it. Okay. So this is what we call. So it's and this one is a tricky. It's a tricky drop down here. Now the file name. As I remember, you told me that file names have some limitations, like we cannot use spaces, right, or something like that. So here we expected to have date. So it's not the word date. It should be actual date, right? Uh, and then finally we will create this report. I'm not going to click on this create report because I want to make sure this functionality I've just recorded is working. So that's why I'm pressing finish. And this is the place where I want to insert these new things. Okay. We click on the incident summary link. Then we select the report to be MS Excel printable. Then we set this checkbox and we use this combo. We click on it and let me rename this. It's actually a report folder. And it gets, so we click on the report folder and we set text. Then it clicks on the test results and on the only options in this pop-up. So this is a tricky place that is when we deal with such complex combos, it's always important to pay attention. So I'm going to select something else here and then try to execute this piece that does the selection just to make sure it works. Play selection. Right. And the okay. So report folder is not available. Title. Okay, you see it's using title here in the XPath. And since I selected something else, if I change it back to the default value where it contains please select, it would work. But I actually want it to be more universal, and I believe it should work without this title. So because it has some meaningful ID here, so I'm just tweaking it right here and trying to first flash it to make sure it's able to recognize it on the screen. Yeah, so now it's recognized on the screen. Now I again can try to play the selected section. And I suppose it should be able to test results. Okay, so it looks like it did something with test result. And it looks like it selected something. Now file name, we click on it and then we put the file name. I want this file name to contain a date, so I need to produce it some way. And this is where I'm going to use Magic Toolbox. So my idea is to write a function, get name, get report name. That should return just what I'm going to put into this text box. Now the question is what to type in this function, and this is where I'm going to use toolbox, search for the word date. There is a topic regarding formatting dates in JavaScript. Clicking the KB link. So this KB contains a function and a couple of use cases. And the second one is to get the date in this format, year, dash month, dash day. So first I'm copying this function itself, maybe just before my one. So I have this toIso string one, and now I'm going to use it using this snippet from the bullet number 2. So this one produces the date in the format year, month, day. Okay. Sorry for using this format. I use it because it's sortable, and I frequently switch between metric and imperial type of date, and it sometimes really need some time to understand is it month or is it a day. So for me, it's more comfortable. At least this format is understandable by everyone, so it's something that I prefer. Uh, and I want to return. So how would we call it? The report would be it would be incident of type bugs, right? It would be all open bugs for week or something like that. All open, maybe like that, and then some delimiter instead of space, and then my date variable. Okay, so this will produce the name for the report, and I'm going to use it right here. So after clicking on this text field, I want to call my function and then use the result of this function. Calling function, actually two ways. You see, I type in too much. I would probably use this. Okay, so I refreshed the object repository and I can now see this function here. So I may just drag it. It's one of the ways of how to use it. Other option would be just use type functions here, and it would suggest me the function name automatically. Anyway, the function returns the report name, and I'm going again change this to variable. Default variable is last result. It's exactly what I need. So it should now use this report name when I play this section. Okay, it's Chrome. It should switch to Firefox, and this is report with date. We may actually change the date to be first. I don't know what is better. Date then all open box. What do you think? Okay. Like that. Okay, so it would be properly named. Well, we know it works. Now, before we do logout, we need to actually generate the report, and let me record this. Instead of doing recording, I won't record everything end to end. I'm just going to learn this button. And you see it has again some internal name which is not clear, so I'm going to rename it right here. So I'm double clicking on this learned line. It has object ID that's supposed to be assigned to this object, and I want this to be what I actually want to see in my script. Create report and finish. Okay, so we have this button. It's not, there is nothing to insert because we just learned an object. So to activate, to actually use it, we need to click on it. So I'm drag and click here, and now it is supposed to be the script. I don't want to do logout right now. I want to execute this generator maybe from here to select the type, set checkbox. So let me manually click incident summary. So it's like a clean view of the same, and play this piece up to the report generation. Okay, Excel printable. And then something went wrong. It should report report folder is not found. Let's see what's wrong with it. Report folder flash. Why is it not here? Usually it's not found if there is no checkbox. Let's see. Ha! 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 You see? You see? We have a checkbox, but it didn't work as expected because sometimes setting it using set check is not the same as actually doing the click. It wants a click, and it's a problem, but not for us. We may solve it. So the place where we do set check, we should better do the click. Uh, this way, it should behave better. Okay, now I'm doing, okay, it's unchecked. It's refreshed. Play selection. Test results. Okay. Here is the name and create report. 3, 2, 1.
Awesome.
So now the last question. Did it actually capture the folder name we used?
Mm,
This is something I would love to check. The reason is yeah, it's here, so everything worked. So no more tweaks. No, it's not worked. It's a different name. It's not it.
that's right. We're looking for all bugs, right?
Yeah.
All open bugs. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it is still in the root folder. Yeah. Uh,
Aha.
this is because, again, not all clicks are identical. And we clicked on the folder name using event-based click. And it didn't work exactly as the same as physical click. It's just like the same situation, just like we have with checkbox. It wants some more heavier click to actually respond. So it shows as if what we want is actually selected, but some internal actions in the UI didn't trigger and it didn't update its internal state due to this click. So let me
Okay.
change it to do L click. The difference is do L click sends physical click to the same location, to the same target. So it for the application it looks like user click as if I really move the mouse, while do click is event-based click, and the power of this event-based click sometimes even if you have browser collapsed or running in headless mode, this event-based click works. So that's why it's used in Selenium, in many places in Rapise itself. So it's faster, it's reliable, it works in all cases. But in some tricky cases like this one, we have to use this physical click, and it solves all these weird problems like we just saw. So let me now try to go back to reporting and try to execute it again, starting from this place and up to create report. Play selection. And report type, checkbox. Folder is wrong. It's create new book.
Yeah.
This is because the typing using do set text is not the same as sending keystrokes, and it is also sensitive to this. So I'm changing here from do set text to do send keys.
Aha.
Oh, this was a folder name. I can undo once. Yeah, if I do undo once, it changed parameter back. So I'm sending it using do send keys. And actually, what I would do, I probably would do it also here in file name.
Mm.
Again, set text is good for headless mode, for many situations, but send keys is for like tricky play. It's best resort for tricky situations like this one. Okay, reporting and playing it again up to report creation, play selection. Okay, now we see another trick from send keys. Since we used send keys, uh, it started typing and it appended the
Mm-hmm.
typing to the text that was here. So we need to clean it up before sending new keystrokes. And we can do this, and let me fix it. So before we do this, let's go and check that report, even with wrong name, is in the right folder. So we have at least one problem resolved. So, oops, not test scripts. It should be test results. Yeah, the report is here, but it
Yep.
typed something before what we actually wanted to be typed, and this is something we're going to fix.
We're on the home stretch now. I can feel it.
We're very close. We should
Mm-hmm.
fix it now. Okay, so I'm going to send Control A and del key probably, and that should do the trick. Going to just use the object, do send keys, and keystroke would be Control is hat A, select all, then del, remove contents. And now let me just execute this piece without creating report. We know creation works. We want proper typing to happen. Yeah, so it removed all redundant characters, and now it contains exactly what we want the report to look like. Well, now a couple more things to finish it. I see we used more time than usual, but you see we did many practical things. So we want to select status to be all open, right?
Yep.
And type to be bug, all open
Bug.
bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is what we're going to deal with. I don't want this. I don't report. I actually don't want here anymore. Okay, so it's done after selecting the report type. I'm adding some space. So here we will do a couple of selections. And the tricky place here is if we look at these combo boxes, this is not a regular combo. It shows something. Some lines contain checkboxes, some don't contain checkboxes. So it's something complicated. And for type is the same. So this is something more complicated. It looks like combo box. It pretends to be combo box, but it contains some tricky things. And luckily we have lib Spira here. So I could record this manually, but for each click it would record click here, then I need to find this element and I need to recognize it, properly run, and then click on it. So it's doable, but this is not what I like. And for status, it's more or less simple, but for bug, I need to click on the checkbox exactly, not on the bug, and make sure that it's accepted. And luckily, we have a library that has one interesting method, Spira combo select. So what we need is to learn these combo boxes, and then we will be able to select proper values. Let me record and just learn these combos I'm going to deal with.
Okay.
Status. Okay, I need to rename it. No one will remember what is it. Status combo. And second is type. Type combo. Hit finish. Now choosing status combo here, and the value is all open. Doing the same. Again, you see I prefer typing. Usually you type just 2-3 characters and it suggests what you need to have here. And it is type combo and the value is bug. And if everything is okay, it should be able to select those. So play selection. Just try this piece without everything else. All open, you see it's selected, and bug, it's
Great.
checked. So now it looks like it is all set for execution. So let me just do logout. And it's interesting. So I may just close the browser, but Spira would remember that there is a session. And if I
Mm-hmm.
play the login, this login is smart. It knows how to deal in this situation, how to press a logout all other locations and log in here. But it again takes some time. So it's easier to do logout and then just play the whole test. Going to incident summary, printable, all open, type bug, checkbox set, test results, selected, type, typed, and create report. And you see it logged out without even
Gonna log
waiting
out.
for it, but
Yep.
we don't need to wait for it. We know it will be produced. We may just log in here go to documents and just make sure report is there. So here it is. So this is a report. It was generated just few seconds ago. So we have this
Great.
part, this mission accomplished, and our next two parts are we're going to schedule this execution. So next time we will save it to Spira and show how to make this report to appear on some regular basis, daily or weekly, in some way like that. And then uh, uh, I hope, Teresa, you will show us how to uh, get all the notifications about these reports. So this may look like completely integrated in the workflow, some organization where you get email and you know that
Yep.
there is a report that you may need to be aware of. Okay, great. So this time, I think today we did what we wanted to do. I hope it was useful for you. No questions so far. Okay, good. Because we already spent too much time. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you for attending today. Thank you for spending time with us. And I hope to see you next time. And I hope we will proceed with this task.
Great.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Alexei. It's always a pleasure.
The same, the same. Take care.
All right. Bye now.
Bye now.